Hello, hello. Welcome to Traveling Through Life, a podcast on the go. I'm your host, Tara, and the founder of the blog Travel with TMc, which is where this whole adventure began over a decade ago. Traveling Through Life, a podcast on the go, is a fun and quirky show that delves into everything travel and adventure, whether from the road, in the air, or in between here and there. And season 1 episode listeners will know exactly what I'm talking about. Make sure to subscribe to Traveling Through Life, a podcast on the go, wherever you listen, and leave a 5-star review. Both of these things make a huge difference in helping the podcast reach a wider audience. They're also super quick and easy to do and free. So thank you so much for your support. In season 2, my guests and I cover a wide range of travel topics again. And it's my hope, as always, that you'll hear something that resonates with you and how you personally travel, and that other things will inspire you to maybe try something new. This week on Traveling Through Life, a podcast on the go, I chat with a man named Brinsley McNamara from County Westmeath in Ireland. He's a fascinating individual and the creator and author behind the wildly popular Weird Ireland accounts on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. He's got a podcast and he's got a book. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the book there. Brinsley and I at this point hadn't met in person. I had reached out to him on social media a year or so before this to see if I could get his new book at that time on a trip to Ireland, which is the year that I went to the Puka Festival. If you've been on the blog, you've seen that post about the Halloween festival called Puka. And we talk about that actually in the podcast episode. During this conversation that I had with Brinsley on the podcast, we technically hadn't met in person yet. And so I was learning a ton about him in real time, just as you will be. Since this podcast episode, Brinsley and I met up in fall of 2025. I'm recording this intro to you in January of 2026. And I got to take along on one of Brinsley's Weird Ireland adventures, which was phenomenal. It was great to meet him in person. It was so great to meet his friend Sean. Hey, Sean, thanks for all the music suggestions. And it was also really cool to get to experience one of the Weird Ireland things that he talks about on his account in real life. Actually, if you're listening on the podcast, I didn't even think about this before. This is me thinking in real time. I've got a little shelf behind me here of a bunch of my travel trinkets and souvenirs. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see me holding what looks like nothing. It's a steel ball. It's so heavy. Like getting this back in my luggage, I didn't know if that was going to be possible. But anyhow, I got to go with Brinsley to a road bowling event, and we don't talk about that in the podcast, but that is on both of our socials, and that will be on my blog once I get it written down there. But anyhow, back to the podcast episode, which is what I'm supposed to be telling you about. During our chat on the podcast, I learned so much about Brinsley. He has hitchhiked and wild camped all over Europe and the UK, which was so cool. I know so few people who have done that, so it was really neat to get into that with him. He also talked about working and volunteering at music festivals. He grew up going to an Irish language school, which as a linguist myself, I was fascinated to learn more about. And he also later learned Spanish when he was living in Spain and Nicaragua. We also talk about the reality of making a life as a travel content creator and where the inspiration for his pen name came from. This conversation was one that I couldn't have planned, being that I didn't know him properly in advance. I only knew his account and his front-facing persona. And Brinsley, thank you for having me tag along in Ireland. And to everybody listening today, I can't wait to hear what you have to think about this episode. I think you're going to love it. Thanks for listening, and let's dive in. Hi, Brinsley. How's it going?
Hi, Tara. Good to meet you. Good to meet you at last. I remember you first messaged me back in, I think it was October. You were in Ireland and you were keen to see if you get get one of the books early kind of thing. I actually regret not giving you one because I just wasn't sure. I had copies of the book, but it wasn't out yet in general. So I just wasn't sure if I could do it or not. I probably could. It would have been fine.
Yeah, no, you're grand.
Yeah.
It's fine. I had reached out. My plans had changed last minute a few times, and I'd been following your account for a while. And I thought, oh, geez, if I could get a copy from him and maybe use this as part of my trip, that would be fantastic. But next time, I'll be in Ireland in September again. So
And you were at the Puka Festival in Athboy on Halloween.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was there. Yeah, I remember you commenting the
Yeah!
obvious there that night. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
know, too funny how we just crossed paths there.
If you
Yes.
saw anybody dressed up like Jason Voorhees, from Friday the 13th, that was me.
Oh, come on, I think I might have taken a photo of you.
Maybe it was me anyways. Yeah.
That's hilarious. I'm gonna send you that after our
Do,
chat.
please do, please do. It
So
was
funny.
That was a funny one, and like it was all for a video. Me and my cousin, when he dressed as Freddy Krueger and I dressed as Jason Voorhees, and we've been wanting to do that for years.
Yeah,
But when we got there, nobody else was actually in, despite it being Halloween night. Almost nobody else was in costume. Most people
yeah.
were not in costume. A lot of people were in the sort of neo pagan outfits, but then we were just like Freddy and Jason. So I thought that was great. So no, do look, see a picture because I'm dressed as Jason Voorhees. Yeah,
I definitely will be looking for that after this.
yeah.
Too funny. Well, I'm thrilled to have you on season 2. Thank you so much for saying yes and coming on here. For those of you who are just listening for the first time or tuning into YouTube, Brinsley runs the phenomenal Instagram account Weird Ireland. He's also on TikTok and I believe YouTube as well.
YouTube, also Blue Sky, also Threads, also yeah, those ones. Facebook, I guess, but that's very small.
He's on all the accounts
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
on Weird Ireland, and it is one of my favorite accounts to follow. He also has a podcast, so I'll add all the links at the bottom of this. But that's how Brinsley and I connected was through Instagram, and
Mhm.
today we're gonna have our first proper chat. So thanks for being here.
Splendid.
Awesome. Well, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, and why you started Weird Ireland?
Well,
Oh,
yeah, I
and
mean,
where you're calling in from today. Sorry to interrupt you already.
where I'm what?
Where you're calling in from today.
Mullingar, County Westmeath. Do you know Ireland that well? Well, I mean, if you're in Athboy, you were pretty close to Mullingar.
Yeah, I actually lived in Dublin for a year and traveled the
Oh.
country for work. I worked at Uisneach, and,
Mhm.
I've been back about a dozen times since, and this fall will be probably 13 or 14 there, so
All right.
yeah.
Have you been to Mullingar?
Yes, I have, passing through. Haven't spent much time yet.
Oh, well, that's where I'm from and that's where I live. And I mean, it's pertinent enough because it's the county town of County Westmeath. And Weird Ireland well, it wasn't Weird Ireland, but back in 2020, I made an Instagram account called Weird Westmeath, and it still exists. It was never as big. It's got about 5,000 followers. It was surprisingly more well known. Well, not it's not surprising that it was more well known in Westmeath, but what is surprising is even when Weird Ireland had hundreds of thousands of followers, people would still in Westmeath, in Mullingar, would recognize me from Weird Westmeath and would know nothing about Weird Ireland. That actually happened last summer a lot, which is pretty funny.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So that was going years, and that was our first step into making online content like that.
yeah,
And it was a very similar thing to Weird Ireland. The humor was there. However, it didn't start as videos. It started as just pictures and writing about interesting old stuff.
yeah.
And then, 2022 went to doing TikTok videos, but there was no voice with it or anything like that, and I
Okay.
didn't use my name or anything. I just posted stuff. And then at the end of 2023, I was actually living in Spain on and off for over the space of like 3 or 4 years. I was living in Spain for 2 years, just in different blocks. Like I do like not 8 months in Spain and then back here to Mullingar and then 9 months and then back, this kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I used to honestly gather like 6 months worth of content if I posted weekly on Weird West Me and then keep posting while I'm away.
Smart.
Um, but I came back to Mullingar in 2023, July 2023, and I didn't have any plan. I didn't have any. There was no plans of going back to Spain. And I was actually really coming to the point where, I mean, if not already well beyond the point where I had never had any career or anything like that. I did just lots of different random jobs. I worked
Yeah.
as a cook, worked as a English. What do you call it? English for English language for like what do you call it?
Yeah.
ESL,
Yeah, yeah,
English as a second
EAL,
language.
yes,
That's it.
yeah, yeah.
ESL teaching. I did that in Spain. And I just didn't ever really had a career or anything like that. And I was looking at going into digital marketing or as retraining and going into software. And I know nothing about that. But very much the dream was to make something like the name Weird Ireland. I honestly had in my head since 2021, but I never did anything with it because it would have been a way bigger undertaking than Weird Westmeath. And I wasn't even in the country that much.
Right.
So yeah, coming toward the end of 2023, I thought it's kind of now or never sort of thing. And I thought the same thing I always think with these kinds of things is start imperfect and get better. So it's kind of like when you roll. What I'd say it's like when you push a barrel down a hill and you try to run after it, and either it gets away from you or you catch up with it.
Yeah.
So in January 2024, I started the Weird Ireland profile, Instagram, TikTok. I actually already had a really big like database of videos on my phone from just years going around making videos.
Cool.
And a lot of the earliest Weird Ireland videos were Weird Westmead videos that were just repurposed. They had a narration added to them. Maybe they're edited a bit differently. Um, and some of them I already knew were popular videos because I'd already posted them as Weird Westmead and they did pretty well. So I thought, well, if I just have a new account, so you've got a new algorithm to start with, a fresh one. If you make if you make the sort of the how you brand the videos very, very consistent, have a consistent opening and consistent style throughout all of them,
Yep.
and if yeah, add the narration, it should pick up even better. And within 7 weeks, I had 200,000 followers on Instagram, anyways.
Did you say
Yeah,
within 7 weeks you had 200,000?
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
absolutely true.
lord. I'm hiring you to do my socials.
Maybe, yeah. No, it's well, sometimes you have to start afresh and not
Yeah.
just, start afresh and have a very concrete idea of what you're going to do. I was able to
Right.
post every day for 6 weeks. Um, and it only stopped in March of 2024 daily because I went on holiday and ended up taking a few days off.
Yeah.
But there was just unbelievable growth around that period. It's at 320,000 now, so it hasn't equaled the same amount since then, but it grows consistently enough, and you get winners of videos every now and then. So yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like a dream of mine to do like Tony Robinson. I guess he's kind of like the European Rick Steves or something like that.
Okay.
That'd be vaguely accurate to say, I think. I'm not
Yeah.
that familiar with Rick Steves though. But anyways, I thought it'd be just kind of cool to do a Tony Robinson type thing and go around Ireland and make videos and stuff I'm interested in looking at anyways. The
Yeah.
book deal came out of that. I got contacted by a publisher early last year as well. And they were interested to see if I wanted to do a book. And I was like, sure. So then there was a turnaround to do a book to have it out in shops for November of that year. Um, from the beginning, I wanted to do a podcast as well. Well, once the page grew a lot, I wanted to do a podcast because the videos, all the Weird Island videos are very they're short, they're pithy, and the information in it is not necessarily very detailed. Often it's not detailed whatsoever. But I think that's just to give people an interest, and if they want, they can look it up themselves after.
Yep.
But with a podcast, you can do more in depth, lengthier stuff. So I set that up. Oh, October of 2024. Yeah, that got set up. But
Yeah.
we got, I got the equipment in like July, and me and the lads tried doing some podcasts. It didn't work out because it was the first time doing it. We're
Yep.
very, very new to that. So it took ages till we actually had something coming out. But that's going very well consistently now. So yeah, it's the social media channels with short form video. It's the podcast on all streaming services, and it's the book, which is well, you can buy it online pretty much anywhere, and it's in shops somewhere. I don't really fully. It is in North America. It did come out in North America in February. I just don't know to what capacity.
I'll have to go on a little hunt around town and send you photos.
I know I've not sent anybody on assignment yet in the USA or in Canada to go find the book somewhere physically. I have a
Yeah, yeah.
buddy in New York. That's probably the best place you could look. I think I'm going there actually. I'm going to New York in September, so I'll have a chance to look myself.
We'll be swapping continents.
I know. Yeah. I've never.
Yeah.
Well, no. I'm sorry. I have been to the USA. I've been to Virginia and DC, and that's it. And I've never been to Canada.
Yeah. Well, when
Uh,
you come, you'll have to let us know. We'll take you around, show you
100%.
all the weird spots here.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, and so, um, I did a little reading as well, but I would
Mhm.
assume based on what you're interested in that you've got a big, like, interest in history, and that ties into part of the travel that you do around Ireland with Weird Ireland. And where did the history bit come from for you? Did you study that, or have you just always been curious in it?
I always liked it. I did study it. I mean, I did it in secondary school, and then when I went to university, I did history in first year. I did history and I did archaeology in first year university.
Okay.
But I didn't carry it on. It's I think you might call it liberal arts in North America. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
like a general arts degree kind of
yeah,
thing?
yeah. General arts. We do like
Yeah,
arts and humanities. We call it.
yeah,
And where I did it, you did 4 subjects in your first year. You dropped 2 of them, so I dropped history and archaeology. I don't regret it, although it seems like they would have been good ones. I kept on philosophy and geography, so that's my degree.
cool.
So that's the level I studied those two. But no, the interest. I mean, do you know the Horrible History magazines or the Horrible History books of the TV show?
No, but I
No.
read an interview that you did where you mentioned them. Can you talk to us a bit about them?
Yeah, I feel like they're not really that North American a thing, are they?
No.
They were huge in Britain and Ireland.
Okay.
They're from the Terry Deary, the author is English. They were a book series initially that I think might have even started in the 1980s, definitely the 1990s. But then in
Oh,
the early 2000s, they made a magazine series out of them, which a lot of them were, I think, just the book compressed. But they had, they were colorful, they were great illustrations. They had a series of different illustrators throughout them. They did presented the information unbelievably well. I started collecting those, I think, in 2004 or 2005, and I had all of them, all 80 of them, except for the third one, the Egyptian one. I never had that one. I just
oh, wow.
didn't. It was back when if you missed a magazine and you didn't have a subscription, they're not going to put it. It's not going to be on the shelves again. It's one of
Right.
those things. So I never had that one. They're online these days, so I have gone back and tried to read it.
Yeah.
So I had all of those. I was huge, huge into those. But even before that, I would have been. I can't remember. I remember finding a book in my granny's house, and I don't even know what the thing was. It was some kind of vague history book, and I was reading about the history of the First World War, and I just thought that was brilliant, fascinating. That would have been before the horrible histories, even. And TV shows, like I mentioned, Tony Robinson there. Do you know Time Team? You hardly know that show, do you?
No, I
Oh,
don't.
Time Team is brilliant. It's
Okay.
like like in Kitchen Nightmares, where where Gordon Ramsay will go to a restaurant and he's like 3 days to turn it around.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen. I've watched so much Gordon Ramsay, but anyways, Time Team was a much more serious show. But what it was they'd go to an archaeological site and they'd have 3 days to excavate it. But it wasn't like staged at all. It was real. They were real
Wow.
archaeologists doing it. Tony Robinson was the presenter. Tony Robinson is not a historian. He's not an archaeologist. He's an actor and a presenter, but he had great energy in doing it all. And even shows like that, I loved that when I was a child. And some legend no, sorry, wait. The official channel, it's not some random guy. The official Time Team channel has uploaded every episode to YouTube, so you can just go back and watch all of them now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, terrific, terrific show. So I don't know, I always had a big interest in that. My mom and my granddad, her dad, would have had a big interest in local history in particular. And a lot of that kind of stuff. I mean, when you're reading horrible histories or Time Team, it's much more big thematic type history.
Right.
But with the stuff my mom, my granddad like, it's extremely local history. Some facets of local history in Westmeath that wouldn't be very well known, even to people in Mullingar or in Westmeath, just wouldn't be well known at all. And I'd be going around normally to old graveyards. I'd go with them, but there was lots of other interesting historical and kind of mythical type places as well. I remember there's a hill outside of Mullingar. It's in Westmeath. It's called the Hill of Lara, not the Hill of Tara. There is the Hill of Tara. Oh, that's
I've
your name
been.
too, eh?
I've been, yeah.
Well, the Hill of Tara, it's not that Hill of Lara. Also a name at Lara, but it's not much of a hill. It's very short, but Westmead's so flat, you actually do get a good view from it. And atop the hill is a chair, St. Patrick's chair. Really, it's like three flat rocks and kind of lying against each other. But people could sit in it, and the idea was that St. Patrick had sat there on one occasion, and sitting in it now will cure any backache you have. And I saw that first in like 2003. I remember that. It was 2003 I saw that. On a day trip with my granddad. So yeah, no, and that wouldn't be really that well known, that place at all. And I have done Weird Ireland videos of that since.
Cool.
So yeah, there was a lot going around where I was able to take in history stuff like that. I'm interested in.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like the folklore as well and things like that in Ireland are so rich, whereas that is, like, completely lacking in our culture here in Canada, I find anyhow, but,
yeah.
uh,
I can't
yeah.
comment on Canada, but regarding the USA, I mean, I think it's a different type of folklore. I mean, the ones in Ireland will be ghosts. By all means, there's a hell of a lot of I wouldn't even. There's ghost stories in America and Canada. There's ghost stories everywhere. It's just
Yeah,
the biggest
yeah,
global thing. But whereas in Ireland, you'll have stories of saints, things that saints did. That's a big one. Not going to find that in North America
yeah.
as much. The devil comes into it a lot. However, in North America, you're going to find a lot more UFO lore, a lot more Bigfoot
Hmm,
lore, a lot more weird cryptid lore like that, which does exist in Ireland, but it's not nearly to the same extent as in North America. So I think it does have a lot. It's just different,
it's a
and
good point.
arguably a lot more recent than North American one.
Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
ever considered this just came into my head right now, but have you ever considered doing, like, a weird world sort of thing
Uh,
at some point where considering you've already lived in Spain and you've done
mhm.
some travel outside and you've got your, how do you say, your formula for everything
Yeah.
that you're doing, would you take that around the world?
Well, here's the funny thing. I got the name Weird Westmeath and then Weird Ireland from there was a magazine series in the 1980s, maybe the 1980s, but definitely in the 1990s called Weird New Jersey.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
good.
these days, those they're a series of books. You can buy the book Weird California, Weird. I have the Weird Virginia book in my room
Nice.
because I was there. Weird, Delaware. You can buy any of them. Um, and they're popular. And Weird USA, they're popular like alternative weird travel books in America. But of all the places, the original one was Weird New Jersey, and it wasn't a book; it was a magazine. And originally, it was done on a typewriter, and it was really like zine kind of underground type thing. And the makers of Weird New Jersey magazine went on to. I actually think they might still release Weird New Jersey. But they went on to make a book, Weird New Jersey, and then from that they made Weird Every State in the USA.
Oh,
To an extent, it does exist, just specifically there. And what I do isn't even like that. The influence is the name.
yeah.
And I got the name from there's a YouTuber I love called James Rolfe. He's a Channel Cinemassacre, and he's from New Jersey. And it's from him I heard about the magazine's Weird New Jersey, and I thought it was a good name, especially with Weird Westmeath, and then Weird Ireland.
Nice.
Um, Otherwise, stylistically, I've only read one of the books, and yeah, it's my one's very much my own flavor. So maybe, well, I have thought about doing Weird Britain because it's the next island over.
Right.
I used to live there. I lived there before I lived in Spain for in Scotland for 3.5 years, and
Ooh,
in Edinburgh. And in Spain, I would love to do España Extraña, so that's Weird Spain in Spanish, and it just where it
yeah.
sounds so good. It has the e at the beginning of both, and has the na at the in both. So it just, I think that'd be great. And I want to do it in Spanish, but very clearly being spoken by an Irish guy who's speaking in Spanish, because I think that'd be just funny.
I have so many questions right
Yeah,
now with everything that
uh,
you're saying.
go ahead. But anyways, regarding that, Weird Britain, Weird Spain, kind of have thought about it vaguely. Otherwise, I've got my second channel just called Brinsley McNamara, and I might just do videos outside of Ireland there. But there's still enough to be done in Ireland for the minute.
Okay, so I wanna slide back into names of, like I'm trying to remember
Yeah.
all these questions right now. So, Brinsley McNamara is your pen name, it's not your
Mhm.
real name, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so you chose that, why and how, and for people who aren't familiar with the author that it's tied to,
Mhm.
can you speak to all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, funnily enough, I was actually the author Brinsley McNamara, Massey. He also not his real name. His real name was John Weldon. He was an author from Westmeath, where I'm from. He died in 1963, I think, so he's dead a long time. And his most famous book is called Valley of the Squinting Windows, and that came out in I think 1919. It's a really old book. Weirdly enough, what I was saying there, I was at a book fair earlier today in a town called Delvin. Delvin is where Brinsley McNamara was from. And it's a very interesting thing that there's a book fair there because the book Valley of the Squinting Windows became really infamous in that town, Delvin, because uh, the author wrote the book about his town Delvin, although he didn't call it Delvin, he called it Garadrimna. And all the characters in the book are actually people that were in Delvin at the time, although he changed the names. But
Scandalous.
he didn't talk about them in a good light. The example I can think of was there's a post office in Garadrimna, and if the postmaster or the postmistress, if she came upon a letter that she didn't recognize the handwriting of, she would she'd go to the kitchen, which is just in the next door, boil the kettle, open up the glue on the envelope using the steam, read the letter, put it back in, and send it. And he
Ooh,
talks about that in the book, and probably the case is the postmistress was doing that in real life. So it led to really big controversy. His book was actually burned publicly in a bonfire in the middle of Delvin, and by far that's the most famous, infamous bit of that book. That's the reason it's most well known because it was publicly burnt in Delvin back in 1919. And it goes a little bit more than that. There was actually a legal case in the 1920s about it. That gets really complicated, that whole thing. But basically, yeah, that's where the name Brinsley McNamara comes from. Although my name and his name is spelled a little bit different. He's Mac, I'm MC.
was there
So
any reason why you chose to do that, or just that when people are Googling, they don't find him instead of you, or
honestly, no other. It's kind of, in a way I kind of got stuck with it because back in 2021 when I was doing Weird Westmeath, in Ireland there's the National Heritage flip, what are they called? National Heritage
Institute?
organization, basically.
Yep.
Um, they annually they do an event where National Heritage Week in August. And back then for COVID, people could do their own heritage project on it, but they could do online projects because of COVID.
Right.
So I wanted to do one for Weird Westmeath where we collect a lot of different folklore from Westmeath. And I did. And in the application, they wanted the name of the organization. So I said Weird Westmeath. And then they wanted the name of the applicant. And I didn't really want to use my name. So I was like, I was honestly reading Valley of the Squinting Windows at the time, his book. So I just chose his name. Um, and I accidentally misspelt his name. And the funny thing is, in every single book you will ever find of that author, it's McNamara M. However, online and everywhere except on his books, it's really, really common for people to misspell it as MC, as I misspelt mine. Um,
Interesting.
so that's really the only reason. He is always MAC, but misspelled MC constantly. No other reason than that, really. So vaguely on Weird Westmeath, although I didn't use the name much, it was technically still my name on it. And then when I started the new channel, um, I want, I really often when I'm looking for an idea for something, I'll just make homage to something I like.
Mm.
Have you ever seen the TV show Jackass? Probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a huge. I don't even like the movies that much. I like the first one. And
Yeah.
after that, I don't really like them. But the TV shows I love the most. I love the TV show.
Yeah.
That's really, really hard to find these days.
Yeah.
But Johnny Knoxville opens up every episode with, "Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass." And that's the only reason mine opens up. Well, my name is Brinsley McNamara. Welcome to Weird Ireland. I was
Okay.
about to make it. Well, I was about to make it. "Hi, my name is Brinsley McNamara," and then I thought, no, hang on a second. It should be well because we're doing it over here in Ireland. So yeah, if I'm ever stuck for something to say, I'll just make reference to something, a movie or a TV show or a book or a song that I like. So that's where that intro comes from.
I love that. You're
Yeah.
leaving like a little breadcrumb of
Yeah.
trails, connecting different things you're interested in for your
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah, for sure. And almost no, one of my buddies picked that up, and that's about the only person to ever copped it. It's a Johnny Knoxville homage.
Yeah.
Also,
That's neat.
also not his real name. Also not his real name. I think his
Right.
real name is Philip Clapp. It's just his middle name is John, and he's from Knoxville, Tennessee, and that's it.
Yeah. No, it's I think it's especially fun or interesting for people who are into what you're doing because like our names are so important and so highly signify who we are and connect to like, concepts about us, but
Hmm.
for you to give people insights into things that you're interested in with how your intro was written or with the name that you've chosen, even though they don't know your real name, they can
Hmm.
still glean parts of who you are and what you're about through these homages that you're using.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun, I guess. And I think it has led to a lot of interest because, once you hear the name Brinsley McNamara over and over again, it kind of gives interest. Oh, you wouldn't believe the amount of people that follow the page or comment for no other reason than their last name is McNamara. I wouldn't believe how that used to happen every couple of days. And like I get a message off another McNamara somewhere in the world, and the name Brinsley would bring a lot of intrigue as well. It would just
It's
cling
not
into people's
common,
heads like
right?
that. Huh?
Yeah. It's not a common name, right?
It's funny. People from outside of Ireland typically are fully under the impression it's my name. Because as far as they know, Brinsley could be an Irish name. Anyone from Ireland, almost everyone from Ireland, was immediately knows it's not his real name.
Right.
Because Brinsley, it is it's a guy from Philadelphia asked me, "Is it a plausible Irish name?" That's a good question. Plausible? No, it's not plausible. The Brinsleys do exist. But I've never met one. I've never really heard of one. The author who used it as a pen name had an uncle called Brinsley. I think it is an old, like, Victorian, Georgian Irish name. Well, it's not
Okay.
even Irish. It's like British or Irish.
Yeah,
But it's
that's
a
what I was gonna say.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
an Edwardian Victorian type name. So that's where it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not at all common in Ireland. There, if any genuine ones exist in Ireland, I think you could count them on your hand, probably.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever feel like revealing your real name, Travel with TMc here for you.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you after.
Yeah, sounds good. Um, okay, well, I'd love to know like a little bit more about growing up for you, like because what you do is travel, going around Ireland and exploring the different places, and you've lived in other countries, and you're going to
Mhm.
be traveling overseas. Like, do you remember where this travel bug came from for you, or what your first trip was? Whether it was like a family road trip, or going to visit other family, or like, how did that all start for you?
I mean, I nearly don't count anything prior to being like 18 or that kind of thing, because then you're just kind of on family holiday. And
It counts.
I used to be top level zoned out on holidays. I remember being on holiday, but I'd be reading a book. And I had to be told not long, like a year ago, that a holiday when I was about 15. I didn't know if I was in Spain or if I was in Italy. I didn't know what country I was in. I would be paying so little attention. I didn't know what city we were in. I would just read. At the time, I was reading. No, I was 16. At the time, I was reading 1984, and that's all I cared about. I would just read.
Yeah.
I loved reading when I was on holiday. I thought it was nice in the sun. So no, I would be. And even thinking back on memories where, like, where I was shopping with like when I was a child, and I was, she brought us off shopping in some other town somewhere. I wouldn't. I'd have to ask her where that was. I wouldn't be. I would be completely zoned out. I wouldn't know where we were. It wouldn't occur to me whatsoever to
Yeah.
even think of where we were. The occasion I'm thinking of, it might have been in Newry. It might have been in Cavan. We don't remember. But I was so zoned out. I just didn't even bat an eyelid. I played a lot of video games. I played a hell of a lot of video games. And that was all I really cared about. That and a bit of reading. So it wasn't until really when I was, um, I remember, when I was 18. I was 18, and I went working for a summer with my cousin in Germany, in Bavaria, in the south, very really actually really close to Austria. And when I was leaving there, it was back in 2011. I was determined to go to the Sonosphere Festival in the UK. It's not around anymore, but it was a heavy metal festival. Metallica were playing, Megadeth were playing, Anthrax were playing, Slayer were playing, Slipknot was playing. And I was so determined to go. I was going to go on my own. Didn't bat an eyelid to that. I'd only just gotten into music when I was like 18. Before that, I was into video games, and I was just, I didn't have any fear whatsoever. I did in the end. My sister and my brother-in-law, they went too, which was
Right.
good. But I would have gone on my own, no problem. It wouldn't. It just, it was a way of being able to go see something like that, and have the whole getting there didn't phase me whatsoever. And then I moved to the UK when I was 22, after
That was your
college.
first time moving abroad, or would you
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it was, yeah. When I was 22, with my same cousin, I was actually, same cousin I was, living in, what do you call it, Germany with. Same cousin that dressed up like Freddy Krueger at Halloween as well. He actually was just in my house about half an hour ago. He's gone to town now. But,
Oh,
but, um, uh, we both moved over to Edinburgh in 2015. And yeah, that was just an unbelievably great moving over an adventure. When you're at least when I was in the UK, during the summer, I was constantly going around working at music either volunteering at music festivals or working at music festivals. In fact, I don't think no, I did buy tickets for some festivals, but that would have been so rare. I would have worked at them or volunteered at them just because, to not spend money.
yeah.
So I would have gone all up and down the UK, around Scotland, around England for that. So, and that's when I got into hitchhiking. When we lived in Edinburgh, we started hosting people on couch surfing. And
Oh,
I'd never heard of
really?
it. And couch surfing is a very different thing now to what it was
It
back 10 years
is.
ago. In
Yeah,
fact, I completely stopped using it because it's,
it's
you know
different. It's
yourself. Yeah.
yeah.
Back then, and just picture it. We had this huge flat. Three of the four guys living in the flat went to school together, so we all just don't care who we bring around and stuff like that. And it's in Edinburgh. So as you can imagine, we get at least 10, 20 messages a day because it's Edinburgh. It's such a popular place. People want to stay.
Yeah.
And we met, they're Canadians actually. Yeah, Dana. She's from Vancouver, or I don't know if she's from Vancouver or if she spent a lot of time in Vancouver. I can't remember.
Okay. Dana, if
But
you're
she was,
listening, give us a shout.
oh, she'll listen. She listens to all these. She listens to all these. Hi, Dana. I'll see you in Bristol this summer sometime. She lives there now. But I remember her describing to me about hitchhiking. And that's where I got the idea into my head to do it myself. And the first hitch I did was Edinburgh to the Isle of Wight to go to Festival, which is the Isle of Wight's right at the very, well, you probably, it's like right at the very bottom coast of England.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I don't know, I just got very into that kind of thing. I've hitched around. I used to hitch around. I used to hitch around the UK a lot. I used to hitch down to London a lot just to go to gigs. Um, I've hitched in Europe a lot. I've hitched in Ireland a good bit. But I haven't done it consistently since 2019. I've only done it like once since 2019.
Any
Um,
tips to somebody who wants to try it?
um, there's honestly, the funny thing is, back when I started hitchhiking in 2015 all the way till 2019,
Yeah.
and in 2017 I did a huge amount of hitchhiking that year around Europe. Back then there was a bunch of websites. I don't know if they still exist. I haven't looked at them in a long time. There was, like Wikipedia, and it's a wiki, and users create the content on it. Back
Yeah.
then, there was a wiki called HitchWiki, and
Oh,
HitchWiki was absolutely the best place to get the advice. If you typed in Kitchener. If you typed in Kitchener, what province is that?
Ontario.
If you typed in Kitchener, Ontario, you'd get the location page on it, and now all the information was dependent on people adding stuff to it. So bigger places would have more
Okay.
info, but even smaller places would. I mean, if you're hitchhiking out of Bristol and you're trying to get to London, it'll tell you which way to go, what service station to go to, where to stand at, all this kind of thing.
Wow.
It would give you, if you're trying to go north, trying to go south, trying to go east, trying to go west, it would give you all the information. There was another too. There was Nomad Wiki, which was like an overall site for here's free places to you can sleep. Here's where you can get free food, free Wi-Fi, and there was Trash Wiki, which was all just about free food for dumpster diving, table diving, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Now, HitchWiki included a lot of the info too. So HitchWiki was by far the best one. A lot of the time, the info on Nomad Wiki or Trash Wiki be on HitchWiki. So check out those places. I will say because I've hitched the channel, the English channel. I've hitched that twice. I've done it in both directions, both times in the channel tunnel. And I only knew from reading HitchWiki that you can hitch the channel. You can do it in both directions, and you can use the channel tunnel or you can use the ferry. Both work. They work because you're not paying per person in vehicle; you're paying per vehicle. So it doesn't matter how many people are in there.
Yeah.
So you'll find that info on there. I never, and then I tried to hitch from Wales to Ireland, but you have to pay on those. And I knew from HitchWiki you can't technically hitch those boats, so I knew to pay there. Those are great websites for it. Any other general advice? I never hitchhike when it's dark anymore. I've never had a very bad run in, but I've had like not ideal run-ins kind of thing. Some of my friends have had some pretty bad run-ins actually. So yeah, I mean, always be safe. It's not always necessarily like safe.
Right.
But back then I didn't give a damn. I really couldn't care. I didn't give a damn. I was just, I don't know, very careless. Is that the word? I don't know. I was very adventurous at the time.
Young and confident that life will just take care of you.
Honestly, yeah. I remember, yeah, honestly, I remember I was in Cumbria, I think.
Okay.
If you're hitching from Edinburgh to London, there's a really, really big service station in Cumbria, and it's not really near anything. The service station is huge. I've been there so many times for that reason. And I hitched a ride all the way down to London or just outside London, and got in with two guys who were driving a truck, and I just got behind, in the behind bit, and I just fell asleep there for the entire journey. Woke up in London, got out, and anything could have happened for that.
Yeah.
And they didn't even speak English or anything. Well, not one of them did a bit. But I just didn't really give a damn back then.
Is there,
Um,
like, hitchhiking, like, etiquette or, like, unknown, unspoken rules kind of thing? Or I've only
unknown.
hitchhiked a couple times, but they've been very short, so
Yeah,
I've like, I can't speak to it much.
unwritten rules. It's such a complicated thing. It can get like HitchWiki info. I used to scrub that site. It will get so detailed. Like for example, some countries in Europe, hitchhiking is so common that they expect you to pay. It's not really like hitchhiking in the rest of in most countries. So they advise you on that kind of thing. So there is unwritten rules like that. Well, not unwritten, yeah, unwritten rules like that. Some countries, it's really common to pay. So expect them to ask you.
Right.
Um, geez, I don't know. I mean, two people is always for me the best number of people to hitchhike with. You just I don't know, if you're one person you'll get more lifts because there's more space. If there's two you might feel more secure, you might get less lifts. Any more than two, I've never done that. It's gonna get a lot harder to get lifts after that.
Yeah.
Unwritten rules, nah, I don't think so. But I mean, I used to even read about, they would even have bits saying about how much eye contact you would make with the driver as they're
Oh,
pulling up to you.
okay.
um there would even be rules, and not rules, there would be like advice given on what to put on your board, what to put on your cardboard.
Okay.
Um, like some people are of the school of thought, write down where you're going to. If you're in, I don't know, Paris and you're trying to get to Berlin, write down Berlin on your thing. And then other people are of the school of thought, do it. I'm actually more in the school of thought of the second one. Write down stops in between because you're more likely to get lifts. A lot of people see Berlin and they won't be driving there, but they'll actually be driving almost the whole way there and they won't realize that.
Yeah.
And then there's a school of thought, it's a minor one where you write something funny, like let's say, and actually, I actually did it once. It didn't work. But I was in Croatia, and I just wrote Ireland in 5 languages on the sign, and people did laugh, but didn't really
Oh,
get a lift from that one in particular.
Yeah.
or if you're trying to, if you're in Paris and you're trying to get to Normandy right on the beach to the beach or something like that. Yeah. I've known a guy to do
Nice.
that, yeah. Honestly, there isn't really hard and fast rules, I don't think, but there
Yeah.
is so much tips, so much advice, that you could go on about, all day, honestly. Yeah.
So cool. Amazing. Another thing I was wondering about was, do you have any travel traditions? But it sounds like hitching and for music seem to be part of your travel
Yeah.
traditions, or used to if they're not still?
Used to is definitely the right way to put it. I never used to, I still don't just go on a holiday somewhere. I never do that. I mean, when I lived
Yeah.
in the UK, I never did that. I would only ever go on a holiday if, like, I would only ever go somewhere if I was going either for a music festival or a gig, which I used to do a lot, or if I knew people there and I could crash with them,
Yeah.
I would do that a lot as well. Or if I was going for, it would always be a specific reason. I would never ever, I still don't ever go somewhere just to look around and hang out. I never would do that. When I went to the USA, I specifically went to Blacksburg, Virginia, and stayed there for a week for no other reason than I knew somebody who was in college there. So
Yeah.
I stayed with her for a week. But like, we went, her and her flatmates, we went to Demolition Derby, we went pumpkin patch picking, we went to Cracker Barrel. We did all sorts.
Nice.
I know, it was great, yeah, and I got a great experience doing that, I mean, I've never been to New York or Chicago or Los Angeles or that, but, I got to do that, so,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's honestly a really good way of putting it. I would never ever go on, and now at Weird Ireland, whenever I'm traveling around Ireland, there's content to be gotten everywhere,
Right.
absolutely everywhere, and, um, especially I was actually in Wexford just, a few days ago because, stayed there a few days just to go around and get content in County Wexford and County Waterford. And it's a part of the country I know the least. So I barely even know the names of the towns down there, how to gauge myself of where I am. But I've gotten a better idea since being there now. Got a load of videos down there. Where else am I going? I'm going to Donegal in June.
Oh, that's where I'll be
June.
in September.
Oh, good. I'm going to the Donegal Rally. Do you know that?
No, I don't. What's that?
The Donegal Rally. It's Ireland's. It's like the Super Bowl of rallies in Ireland. A rally is like on road car racing. And the Donegal Rally's the big one. It begins in Letterkenny. So me and a few of the guys are going to that. What else? I think we're going to the Ballyhaunis festival and festival. It's not a music festival. It's like a Ballyhaunis is just a town. Well, not just a town. It's a town in Mayo, and it's like it's like their summer
Ayo.
festival or whatever. Yeah. So I'm going. I'm going there at the end of this month. So anytime I'm going somewhere, it's for a specific event going on or a specific video to make or that kind of thing. So it's still very much the case now. I wouldn't go somewhere just to hang out, really. Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like you're a very intentional traveler. Like you have a goal in mind or you have a person in mind or something like that
Yeah,
that
I guess
draws
so.
you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even or a job like when I was going to Spain those times, I'd find different internships or different jobs, different places, and I'd go there for that reason. I worked in
Right.
Nicaragua in 2023 for 3 months, but that was only really specific because I had a job there for 3 months.
Right.
So otherwise I probably would never have gone kind of thing. Which maybe
Yeah.
isn't ideal. It's good to go to these places too, but I like going with a purpose. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
That's very much the
Yeah.
case.
Definitely. And for Weird
Mhm.
Ireland, I can't speak
Yeah.
right now. Do you have like you sound like an organized person as well. Do you have like a
Mhm.
spreadsheet or a list of like the places that you want to check out, what you're doing there? Like how do you function given the quantity of content and the
Mhm.
consistency with which you put things out? How does that work for you? What's your process like?
Yeah, there's spreadsheets. There is a giant spreadsheet that isn't that well. It wasn't that well set up. And any things that are already in my head, I'll put in there. But I get a lot of advice, and I'll take those down as notes, and then often I'll actually hold on to those notes for months until I realize to put them into the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Um, and then I don't know. There's other spreadsheets. There's spreadsheets of there's lists of content that's already recorded, not put out yet, so I can
Right.
know what's there. There's lists of potential guests for podcasts I'd have written down, kind of thing. Um, yeah, there is very much sheets like that. I've got a very good memory as well. And a lot of it will be just. I mean, there's a lot of kind of slightly flights of fancy as well. Like I
Yeah.
did a New Year's Eve video in Port McGee in Kerry, and it was because they have a New Year's Eve celebration down there, which is not a traditional one, which is not a common thing in Ireland at all. It's the only one I'm aware of. And I think it was in December or maybe November, I just got the idea into my head. I want to go do something for New Year's Eve. May as well go make a video while I'm doing it. Is there anything in the country that's worth doing it? And I found out about this Port McGee festival. So I asked some of the guys if they were keen. We've got an Airbnb, but that was all, planned out pretty quickly, sort of thing. Yeah. I've got also lists of like events coming up this summer and which ones I'm able to go to around the country. So yeah, there's a lot of organizing behind it. And then there's a lot of when I get down to a place, just going around Google Maps and seeing what interesting things are around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I even feel like in Wexford, I wasn't that well organized. There was a few things I wanted to see there, and then I was just kind of. But it's just hard when I don't know the area that well.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Um, oh my goodness, yeah, still so many questions. Okay,
Mhm.
do you have any, like, super memorable moments, whether they've been from your times living abroad or a weird Ireland, location or person that you've met that's really stood out for you?
God, there'd be a few, I guess. I mean, I remember one that comes to mind is back in January. I recorded a podcast, and for the Weird Ireland podcast, every like it's a mix of either talking to like with my pals, which are the co-host, or I'll go interview somebody somewhere around the country or wherever. And I've always done this like with them sitting across from me, so I have to go to wherever they are, and I've got the portable podcasting kit. And there was a guy commented on one of the videos, and I went into his profile. I always do, and it looked like he was a guy who owned a traditional stonemason business. And I actually really, really wanted to interview a traditional stonemason for years. It was someone I was very interested in, and so I messaged him, and I was like, "Oh, would you have any interest in talking on a podcast?" His name is Dominic Kyo. And he was like, "Yeah, yeah, definitely." And he lives in Manor Hamilton in Leitrim, so the far side of Leitrim, near Sligo. So we drove up there one day in January. We came up to the Leitrim, what's it called? The Leitrim Stonework. There's in Manor Hamilton. There's like this stone masonry center, basically, that he worked out of, and a lot of other people worked out of. So we met him there, made a video there, went across to the pub, got pints, set up the equipment, recorded. We were there all night, like we were there all evening with the guy, and it was brilliant. It was a great podcast, great video. There was an entire podcast. He had so much knowledge on what he was talking about, and such an ability to speak that even like it was around an hour and a half from when we met him to when we started recording. But in that hour and a half, there would have been a whole podcast worth of material that was never recorded because we hadn't even set up yet, and
Wow.
almost none of it came up in the podcast. Very, very little of it. He just had so much he could say. That was a great, great, great fun interaction. And he wasn't he's not like a content creator. He's a traditional stonemason, he owns a business. And a conservation worker too, actually. But he's not a
Yeah,
content creator. So it was great that, normally content creators trying to put themselves out there more, and he wasn't necessarily the case, but he had absolutely no problem in talking about more than just, I mean, he could talk about stone all day, but he was well able to talk about music. He was big into playing music. He was big into local stories he was from Mayo originally. From Mayo, he could talk about anything. It's uploaded now. It's,
oh,
what's it called again? Stone Talk with traditional stonemason Dom Kyo. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. It came
okay.
out in January, I think.
I'll
So
have to
that
check
was a
it
great
out.
experience going to Manor Hamilton. It's always a hell of a lot of fun, and very nice to meet him. And it was just a very, very fun evening.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Have you had any scary experiences in your travels or in your exploration?
Um, In hitchhiking, I've had 2. They weren't scary, but they weren't ideal. I didn't get robbed or anything like that. No, I didn't get robbed or anything like that, but they weren't really ideal. One was in England and one was in Bosnia. And they're only about a month apart from me. I don't know, they're about 6 weeks or around 2 months apart from each other. I won't go into those exactly,
Fair.
yeah, I didn't get robbed and I didn't get hurt and I didn't get like brought somewhere random or something like that. But they weren't ideal. But I have had buddies that had much more negative situations with hitchhiking. But outside of that, scary experiences. People have asked me if I've ever seen a ghost. I haven't. I've seen. I have had
Fairies?
scary. No, never seen those either. Never seen Bigfoot. Never seen any cryptid. Um, Geez, I mean, even like I said, I used to live in Nicaragua for 3 months, and you'd see alligators there every day, like it was crocodiles there every day, like it was nothing. But never scared of anything. No, 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 it wouldn't be. No, yeah, no, no, never really a scary one or anything like that. Yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
You were talking earlier about growing up traveling and how you couldn't be arsed about what was going on around you and you were just right
uh,
into the books there. And I can so relate to this. Like traveling with my family when I was a kid, my dad would literally tell me to close the book and look out the window because
mhm,
I also could not care what was going on in the world.
yeah,
But with that link that love of reading and your love of history, and knowing that you guys learned Irish growing up and that you've lived in other countries.
Mhm.
Do you still use Irish? Do you speak other languages? What's your story that way?
I went to a Gael school, you know those?
Oh, you did? No
Yeah,
way.
Irish language school, for
Come
primary
on.
school, for primary
Yeah.
school. The secondary school one, there isn't any. I don't think there's any secondary school one near where I am, but I went to a primary school one. So up till the age of 12, from 4 till 12, I would have had to do school, and well, you would have done every subject in Irish. Like, I don't do geography, it's Trolliacht, and you don't do history, it's Star. You do English
Right.
and English. When you're learning English, you talk English.
Yeah.
But even in the playground, you're meant to speak Irish. You did,
Yeah,
we didn't. We just got nobody did. We just got very good at looking around for teachers and then walking away if they were getting too close.
for sure.
But my level of Irish is not really up to, like, a lot of my friends, like my co-host in the podcast, Shameen. I actually lived with him in Edinburgh for sort of 3.5 years. Went to school with him. His Irish is still really, really good. He went to the Gael school as well. He kept it up very well. Mine's nowhere near as good as his anymore. I went to a Gael talk as well last summer for a bit, but I didn't pick up that much. I speak Spanish now very, very well. I
Entonces,
mean, I have
¿podemos hablar en español ahora?
podemos sí, pero supongo que hablas el español de México, ¿no?
Ah,
¿Dices acá o dices, no sé, la
acá,
otra palabra?
aquí, los dos.
Bueno,
See? We'll
great.
switch back for the listeners. They'll be
Oh,
like,
you
"What's
can,
going
yeah,
on?"
yeah. So I speak that
Um,
pretty well, yeah. I
yeah,
haven't had that much time to practice. I've been away for nearly 2 years in Spain.
right.
But that's my next best language after English, and nothing else would be any other level like that. And I've never had my ability now in Spanish is far better than my ability in Irish ever would have been. Um,
Wow.
I wouldn't have. I had no interest in learning. I absolutely love, 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 love languages now. I'm trying to learn Italian a bit now because I want to go there later this year.
Yeah.
Um, but I would have had absolutely no interest in languages in school. I would have really. It just wouldn't. I don't know. I was just kind of zoned out again in a way. I did German in school, and I did it in the leaving cert, like at the end of school. But it would have been one of my worst subjects.
Yeah.
Now I love languages. Now I think they're really, really interesting. But I just wasn't tuned in. I wasn't arsed with it at all. Like, yeah.
Yeah. What switched, do you think, for you?
I don't really know, to be honest. I really, really don't know. I honestly don't know. I just think I don't know, because I mean, like, I like history and I like other places and I like learning about other cultures. And I remember being like a teenager and I just I just thought when I first discovered Wikipedia, you could type Brazil and just read all about the languages and the history and the places in Brazil. I thought that was brilliant. It's literally just like when a child who likes that kind of thing finds an encyclopedia and just read encyclopedias, you know? I mean, it's literally that, 'cause it is an encyclopedia. Um, so I think that aspect of it really interested me, but I didn't start properly trying to learn Spanish until I was, 26 or 27 maybe? I'm 32 now. And I didn't move to Spain till I was 27, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you take lessons or did you just pick it up while living in the country? How did you go about it?
Oh, like, before I moved there, I started doing online lessons, proper online lessons in the Duolingo as well, which isn't. When people say it's not that useful, it isn't, but not necessarily, but it's not bad either. There's no problem
Yeah.
with using it every day and
Yeah.
reminds you of vocabulary. And honestly, if you actually go really, really far in a language in Duolingo, like I haven't used it in Spanish in a long time, but I am really, really far into it. It actually does start doing grammar stuff in it that's really useful to know and is really good practice with that. But when it's just repeating vocabulary, it's not really, you can get too repetitive, but it is a good tool. Then when I was in Spain, I would have done lessons there at the beginning and done a lot of self learning. Um, then I lived on an eco village in Spain in 2021 for 8 months. And there I had only just started learning how to say the most immediate past tenses in Spanish. So that's the level I was at. But I would wreck people. I would absolutely wreck people's heads. I would ask questions and questions and questions. If they said something, I was like, what was that? What did you say? What did that mean?
Yeah.
Or how do you say this? And for 8 months they got that. And the questions would have gotten harder as it went on because it would have gotten more, yeah, just harder.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was actually where it improved the most. I just pestered them so much trying to ask them how do I say things, but worked out great. Would have done lessons there too. I lived in Seville for 6 months. I did lessons the whole time there, and I would have just been out. I would have been out in the town a lot when I was in Seville. Did language exchanges there too. Just the whole podcast. when I was learning, I'd spend the first hour of the day before work listening to Spanish language podcasts. Once for learning English, but all in Spanish. I was really, really hell bent on it. So it was a mix of things. Yeah, it was a big mix of things. But it really helped being there and having native speakers around you and ones that could. It's not always good if all of them can all speak English, but if some of them can, then you're in a really good position. You know.
Yeah, I totally relate with you
Yeah.
on this again. I was just in Guatemala for a
Oh,
month
cool. Yeah.
and yeah, and for one of the weeks I chose to do a language school. So in the morning I had classes, but I stayed with a host family there that
Hmm.
week as well. And my biggest goal for Guatemala was immersing myself in Spanish. I studied it in high school and
Hmm.
university, but I don't use it a ton day to day. And it's so true. You either live in the place or you date someone in the language or you just go full out nerd and you get into the lessons and do that kind of
Yeah,
self-taught.
I never did the movies and music thing. That's a
Yeah,
really,
same.
really big tip that people have, and honestly, it works brilliantly. Uh, and where you watch Spanish language TV shows in Spanish with subtitles if you need.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt. And listen to the Spanish language music. But I've never did that. I just never did. Didn't. I just couldn't. If I wasn't interested in the TV show, I just wouldn't keep watching it just for that reason. But that's a
Yes.
really good one. Up there with the best methods, honestly.
Yeah. Do you have
Yeah.
any favorite not languages, do you have any favorite, phrases or words in any of the languages that you know?
I like a few. No tiene, is it no hace calor? No tiene calor? No, no color. It's like if you want to say, oh, there's no comparison. You're like, oh, well, you know, Guinness, I don't know, Murphy's is better than Beamish. So there's no comparison. It's, el Murphy's es mejor que el Beamish. No hay color. That's it. No hay color. There's no color. Yeah. Do you know that one?
I don't know that one,
Yeah,
no.
I don't know if they use that in Latin America. No hay color means there's no comparison. There's no nothing like that. There's one. My favorite one is no es moco de no es no es moco de pavo. Yeah, that's it. No es moco de pavo. Moco snot, and and pavo turkey.
Okay.
No, it's not turkey snot.
Oh,
Um, that means it's no joke, like it's a serious matter. That's what that means. I really,
okay.
really doubt they use that in Latin America. That's one in Spain. Also, I don't know how it ties into it, but like a pocket watch.
Yeah.
I think I was told once in Spain that they call a pocket watch a turkey snot. It's just an expression they use for it or something like that. So I don't know
What?
what that expression, do they literally mean turkey snot or do they mean a pocket watch? But I'm not. But either way, that is a big expression there. Oh, that's no. Like I don't know. What I'm trying to think of something that's no joke. Or like learning Spanish is no joke.
Yeah.
Aprende el
Okay.
español. No es moco de pavo. It's not like it's like it's a serious matter. I think that's kind of more so what it means. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another one I
Cool.
like a lot. I like a lot. I would just be like I did do lessons, but I spent a lot of the time just kind of talking to people in Spain on the street and that, or even in Nicaragua. I've been told I kind of talk like in the guys in Nicaragua now because I was there for 3 months. I had two guys to hang out with, both from Nicaragua, both had a word of English. Oh geez, like God, what stuff did they say? I'm not. There's kind of sweary ones I'm not going to use, but they're Nicaraguan sweary ones.
Okay.
What I love is they don't like in Spain. Oh, you're talking to a guy, he's a chaval, chavales, hola chavales. Then in around Latin America, muchachos, you'd know that one, yeah.
Yeah.
In Nicaragua, they call each other barron,
Okay.
barrones. I don't know, like barons, dudes. That's how
See?
they say it. I don't know if they say that in other parts of Latin America, but they say at least the two guys I was working with said it a lot. I don't know. I love little intricate bits like that in language, like phrases, and that. I use them a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah,
Yeah, super neat.
yeah.
With regards to tech and travel or tech and adventuring, um, you talked about Wiki a little bit and some websites that you use for hitchhiking. Did you do much travel on your own, like without using tech, or have you always kind of been in that vein? What's tech's influence been in your travels?
Yeah, I think I've always used it. I mean, I would never, to be honest, I think when I first started hitchhiking for the hell of it, I did buy UK road maps.
Okay.
But they were like I bought them and then never used them. I just used Google Maps. I even bought in service stations. I'd buy like I'd have a backup. Would I even have a backup charger? I carry one around all the time now. I'm not even 100% sure if I use the backup charger a lot. But I would buy like a phone charger, but it's the kind of one that would plug into a firelighter in the car.
Yep.
I had one of those on me, so if I was ever hitchhiking, I could just plug into their firelighter. I'd bring one of those around with me. No, there'd be. I mean, it wouldn't be very heavy tech. There'd be at most that kind of charger, phone, and that kind of thing. I remember I was in Bosnia. I was actually working there in a hostel one summer, and a guy I kind of knew. I met him at a festival once. Was in Croatia, so I went to go. I got a blah blah car, which is it's like the lift sharing website.
Okay.
Really, really common in mainland Europe. Not even that common in the UK or Ireland, to my knowledge, but in mainland Europe is really, really common. I got to the city in Croatia, and I was staying there that night. And the guy asked me if I had a bag, so he was picking up two other people, and I just pulled my phone charger out of my pocket. That's all I had. I had my wallet, my phone, and my phone charger, and that was it. I didn't even have a jacket because it was hot. Yeah.
Amazing. And when you're prepping for like your Weird Ireland content or weekends with the lads or whatever else, what do you use to prep? Are you talking to people? Are you using blogs? Are you reading? What's the research like? If
It
you're
varies. I mean, like for example, like I said, we're going to the Donegal rally. I only heard about the Donegal rally. It could be exactly this day last year. Come to think of it, I was in Dublin and I met some people and ended up staying at their place. And they told me about the Donegal rally. Well, your man was from there, and I'd never heard of it. I don't drive, and I wouldn't really know anything about rally car driving. Although it is a really big scene in Ireland. The Donegal rally is far from the only rally in Ireland. There's a lot of them. So that kind of got my interest in checking that out some year. And for the book, I wrote a bit about rally car driving in Ireland. And then when I asked some of my friends actually did know about the Donegal rally. So that was all just based off of hearing about that, reading about it online, finding the place to camp for it. You can book camping for it for the what's that thing called? The for the New Year's Eve celebration in Port McGee. I
yeah,
found that on Reddit. I don't often use Reddit. I really don't, but I looked up New Year's Eve celebrations in Ireland, see if I can find anything. And people, some were talking about it on Reddit. So that's how I found out about that. Looked up YouTube. YouTube is a great tool for that because then you can search that celebration so you can see, does it look interesting for footage? Because it almost certainly there'll be footage up there of it. So I found footage. It looked great. I went to Dingle for St. Patrick's Day because they have the earliest St. Patrick's Day parade in Ireland. It's at 6 in the morning.
oh,
Uh, Now,
why?
there's an interesting story behind that. Now, I'll tell you, they have two St. Patrick's Day parades in Dingle. One at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the big one, and then one at 6 in the morning, which is actually like it's a drum and fife band, and they go up and down the town drumming and playing pipes. But
Yeah.
honestly, maybe 1,000 people could show up for it if it's not raining. And and oh, I did ask a bunch of people what's the story with that, and it's they weren't. I think it was what was it? It was the land war in the 1880s, I think, and there wasn't allowed to be big congregations of people or something like that. Not even for Paddy's Day, so they did it in the morning before anyone like officials were up to be able to see them doing it. And that's a very old tradition there in Dingle. And I honestly heard about that from earlier on this year before Patrick's Day. Somebody commented on one of my videos. I don't remember which one. Are you going to the St. Patrick's Day parade in Dingle, the earliest one in Ireland? Asked him more about it. He explained more, and so here places somewhere or on that one occasion found that thing on Reddit.
Cool.
I don't know. I keep my ears open for all this kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. And I feel like probably at this point, people know what you're doing. They'll send you lots too and give you heads up
absolutely.
about things.
I
Yeah, yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I'm trying to think what else I have for the summer. There's somebody else commented, either they commented or they DM'd me. That there's a festival in County Down in Warrenpoint where during the summer it's called Wake the Giant Festival, and it's where there's like they make a giant effigy of Finn McCool, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, I need to look into that more. I might go to that one. God, the May bank holiday weekend coming, like the one at the end of May, there is
yeah,
so much stuff going on. That's like the bank holiday weekend of the year. There's so
yeah.
much going on that weekend, and it's a
It'll be
mix of
hard to
hearing it off
choose.
some. Huh?
It'll be hard to choose. How do you decide what makes the cut?
I don't know. I don't know. Money will come in. Like, for example, the Rory Gallagher Festival's on that weekend in Ballyshannon,
Yeah,
Donegal. I've heard about that first in 2010, maybe 2009, because I've some friends that went there all the time, every single year.
yeah,
So I've known about that years, but I've never been to it. It's like a blues music festival in Ballyshannon. It's in all the pubs instead of a big venue,
cool.
and it's free to go to, but you pay for the camping, so it's really cheap. And God, there's the Cats Laugh Comedy Festival that's on
Oh,
in
I went to that.
Kilkenny. Have you
I
been?
saw Jimmy Tiernan there,
Oh,
yeah.
I've never been. I've never been to it. It's good, is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it was class, I loved it. We saw 3 different acts, I think,
Mhm.
there, and then, yeah, I just enjoyed the town as well. Yeah, that was a
Class.
couple of years back.
Yeah, I've never been to Kilkenny town city. Never
Oh,
been. I know. I
really?
need to go. Yeah.
Oh, it's stunning, and I feel like with the history there, you just love it. I was there for, Christmas markets the last year or 2 as well. Yeah, no, that's
So
too
yeah.
neat. What are you traveling with for gear these days? Because, like, you sound pretty minimal, but now you've got the podcast and your content creation, so are you using your phone? Are you using, like, DSLR, whatever, or mirrorless
No,
cameras?
every
Like
video is filmed on my phone. That one.
yeah,
It's an iPhone 13 Pro. Every video is edited on there. Every video is posted on there. Every clip is either saved in there or on the cloud or both.
they need to sponsor you.
Oh, iCloud maybe. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, so that's very minimal. That's extremely minimalistic. It's just that bring a backup charger, bring the cables. There's no microphone, nothing. It's just I just speak into the microphone. That's it. You know, to
Nice.
make the videos. There's no need to. I
Yeah,
couldn't picture recording something on a camera, then putting it onto your laptop, then editing it there. I just couldn't picture, and it doesn't really work with the style of what I'm doing either.
yeah.
Regarding the podcast, is literally just two mic stands. The laptop I'm using right now, it's a MacBook. I've got an interface is on my knee right here, and honestly, I've gone around with those just in a plastic bag, in my backpack. I've done like I went to interview. God, it was in Killorglin in Kerry. There was a St. Bridget's Day or Biddy's Day. There was a Biddy's Day festival on. I made a video there and I recorded a guy podcast there, but that was all just it was just in a plastic bag in my backpack on my back, all the equipment and the laptop and everything like that. So no, it's very easy to travel around like that. And I just got buses around. I just got buses to there and buses back from there. You know,
Nice.
no, I can travel very light. Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, Transport for Ireland, Dublin Bus, all that. They should be sponsoring you as well. You're
I
like
wouldn't
the
mind. I wouldn't mind. I mean, local links I'll use. It's all TFI. You're right, actually.
yeah,
You're right. Yeah. I use those absolutely. I mean,
brilliant.
God, what was it? It was Killorglin to Tralee, Tralee to Dublin Airport to Navan to Mullingar. That was a trip. I
Yeah.
left like 10 o'clock at night. Killorglin, got back to Mullingar like 9 in the morning or 8 in the morning. 8 in the morning, I think. Yeah.
And is this I forgot to ask earlier, is Weird Ireland like your full-time job now, or are you
Yeah, pretty
doing
much. I'm not making a huge amount of money off it or anything like that. I mean, naturally, you get money from a book.
right.
The podcast doesn't make any money. There's no ads on it. There's no
Yeah,
sponsorship on it.
yeah,
So that doesn't make any money. The videos do not make any money. Like not like with a creator fund like you have in the USA and UK and probably Canada. I'm not sure. Ireland doesn't have that for TikTok. I don't have enough videos. Or even I don't have any long form videos on YouTube, and that's the easier way to make ad revenue there. So nothing there. So it's a mix of book stuff, donation type stuff of a Patreon, which I need
nice.
to bulk and put more stuff on there. I was using Buy Me a Coffee, and that would actually, when I put out the tip jar, it would actually get a few tips. It's great.
Yeah,
I might start using both that one again with the Patreon in case anyone just wants to tip a fiver or something like that the one time. Totally fine.
yeah.
And then different kind of deals. I mean, you can make content for other people. Like I've made a bunch of videos for Lad Bible. One of them was
Oh,
an
nice.
advertisement. Yeah, one of them was an advertisement for a TV show, House of Dragon, the HBO thing.
Heard of it,
Um,
haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
yeah, that was I've done an ad for that, but I've also then, but in Weird Ireland style, like I went to places and showed kind of made try to tie it in with Irish history and mythology, and then otherwise we just original content you make for them. And then there's other deals like that come in basically too.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've got a couple of deals going at the minute. So we'll see where they go.
Good on you,
And
that's your hustle.
maybe even podcast sponsorship a little bit further down the line. Maybe this year though might come into it. Well, I'll see. There is stuff going on in the background, yeah, but it's not a huge amount of money. But yeah, it's what I fully do.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love it. Good for you,
thank you.
honestly, like, I don't think people who aren't doing stuff similar to us don't understand all the time and effort and obviously passion and energy that goes into it, and,
Hmm.
I have a lot of respect for people like yourselves
Hmm.
who, um yeah, who dedicate so much time and energy to that, and I hope that it pays off in the ways that you need and want it to as well. Yeah, that's neat.
Thank you.
D Yeah, you're welcome. Do you prefer living abroad versus traveling to places? Because 'Cause you've talked about living abroad several times.
Hmm. Um. Yeah, I guess I do. I mean, yeah, I guess I do. I mean, I don't know. I just had to feel like, I don't know, when you're just traveling to places. I mean, I always, if I'm staying somewhere, it's always a hostel or somebody's place. And most of the time, I just can't really, I'll walk around. If I have my laptop on me, it's on my back constantly. You're just constantly keeping an eye out for your stuff and all this kind of thing. Or if you
Right.
have your own flat stay in a place, it's nice. I mean, all the time I lived in Spain was really, really terrific. And yeah, I really like living there. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I guess so. I mean, it's different things, it is different things.
Yeah. Where's the weirdest place you've slept?
I used to sleep outside all the time. I used to sleep outside absolutely all the time.
No
When I was
way.
hitchhiking, I'd sleep outside constantly. I did, the longest hitching trip I did was, it was from Dubrovnik Airport, South Croatia. I got as far as Wales, and that was all for free. That was completely hitching the whole way to Wales.
Yeah.
The only reason the hitch stopped is because I couldn't hitch the ferry to Ireland. I had to pay for that. So that's when I got to pay to go to Ross from Fishguard to Rosslare. But that was 9 days, and I slept outside every time, and every time I do that, I always sleep next to a service station,
Okay.
because, and I never used a tent. I never had a tent. It was just in a sleeping bag, and,
Really?
yeah, never used a tent.
You're
Absolutely not.
hardcore.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it wasn't cold. It was in the summer, and it was down in Southern Europe.
Yeah.
But no, I remember I was at one service station. Oh, where was I? I was outside Zagreb. I was north of Zagreb, just north of it. And I was at a service station there. And the reason I do it there is, number one, nobody bothers traveling into the trees next to service stations. They don't, most of the time. Some of them you'll get there and you'll see rubbish, or some of them, if they close the bathrooms early and truckers use it a lot, they'll actually, like use it as an outdoor toilet. I've actually have seen places like that in Germany. But I would just go to the trees like behind a service station, just sleep there for the night. All you have to do is find somewhere that nobody's going to walk into for 6 hours, and you're good.
Right.
And you're not using a tent, so you're not conspicuous. Nobody can see you, and you're
Right.
safe because you're next to a service station, which is almost always 24-hour. So there's always
Right.
people in there. You're always safe as it is. Um, but I remember I got to one, and in outside Zagreb, and just all surrounding, it was dark at this stage when I got there. There was a low lying mist all around everywhere, and you couldn't sleep in there. You just couldn't. I wouldn't even have slept in low lying mist because it's wet, it's damp. But I found that there was like a ditch next to the road, and it was like some kind of a drainage gripe. And if I lay flat, and there was no shrubs around it or anything like that, I found if I lay flat in that, even truck drivers passing by wouldn't see you until it was too late for them to stop or something like that. Because I just didn't want anybody to look like I was see someone distressed and like go in there. So I
Right.
slept there just for the night, just in a ditch next to the road. I've
Yeah.
slept. I remember I hitched to Guildford on the same trip. Hitched to Guildford, and I just walked to a housing estate just in the outskirts of Guildford, and there was like electrical box. Like, I don't know if you have them in the ones in Ireland and was in the UK. Like,
Yeah.
there was just an electrical box, and next to it was just trees at a corner of an estate. I just got behind the electrical box, and as long as nobody sees you for like 6 or 8 hours or however
Yeah.
so long it is. Normally it's only six because you're not going to sleep that much. So gee, I remember one time on the same trip, I was in, I was near Salisbury, and I was next to a motorway. Where like there's a motorway bridge.
Yep.
So right next to the motorway, you've got the metal like protectors away from the road. I just slept right next to that on the inside, away from the road, because
Yeah.
nobody can barely even walk to that thing, so nobody's going to see you. A
Yeah.
car's not gonna crash through the big metal thing. Um, so I just slept there, and I woke up soaking wet. Now, I wasn't thinking at all because I'd just been in Southern Europe for like 2 months, and it barely rained when I was there at all. And now I was in England, and I just wasn't. And it was a lovely evening, but I just wasn't thinking at all. And I was soaking wet when I woke up at like maybe 4 in the morning or something. But the railway bridge was right next. Not railway bridge, the motorway bridge. So I just climbed underneath that, and there is part of it, even with the slant, there's a part that's not slanted in the back. I didn't sleep, but I got in there, listening to music until the sun came up, and then I was walking, and then the clothes just dried on me. So no,
Yeah.
I've slept outside loads and loads of times. Normally just in never with a tent, and normally some place nobody's going to see you for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sign me up for your memoir. When's
yeah.
that coming out? Oh goodness. All right. So with the help of my guests, I'm putting together a travel playlist. I don't know about you, but on trips that I've been on, there's either been like a theme song that tends to keep on coming up or it's associated with a memory from a trip. And I know I asked you before, but can you share with us what your song is and why you chose it?
So the one I chose was Starry Eyed Surprise by Paul Oakenfold and Shifty Shellshock. Did you know the song before I said it, or did you listen?
Not by name, no, but
Did
I'm
you
awful with names of anything, really.
It was a big hit. I remember when it was a hit in, like, 2002, and it was good and all, but it never stuck in my head, and then do you remember that service station I was telling you where I slept in, it was in Croatia, it was outside Zagreb, and there was, like, a ditch, and I was in there?
Yeah,
This is I had to think back what tune I was gonna pick when you asked me this, and a few other ones came into my head, but this year, I've been listening to that song a lot because I really like it, and I thought, "Yeah, I'll go for that one," because, I was in the service station, and I didn't have a Shazam on my phone. I only started using that a few years ago. But that song came on, and I didn't have Shazam, and I thought it was, and I remembered it was, I remembered it from years ago. So I just typed down the lyrics of the chorus into my phone and searched it and got that one. And then
yeah,
when I got back to Edinburgh, it was just like, even though it was September, it was like the mini summer jam when I got back there. And I don't know, it was just on that experience I got that tune. There's definitely other ones. We can't go back by Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. That'd be a big one for me.
nice.
Um, Really, because I think I was just going to Tea in the Park, seeing Noel Gallagher in 2015, and I felt like, oh yeah, here we go, going on an adventure and that.
Yeah,
Um, God, there'll be a few other ones, but we're gonna go with that Shifty Shell Shock one because it's just a terrific tune. It really is a lot of fun. Very
class.
very celebration of life kind of one.
Perfect, awesome, it's added to the playlist.
Sweet, yeah, it's a great
Um,
one.
to round out today, we're gonna do a speed round.
Hmm.
So, either answer in one word or as few words as possible, and yeah, we'll go through
Mm,
this.
look forward to
So,
it. Let's hear it.
yeah, where was your last trip?
Oh, Wexford. But yeah, Wexford. We'll go as few as possible.
Yeah, and where's your next trip?
Uh, uh, what date is it? 4th of May. Uh,
May the 4th
I
be
don't
with
know
you.
if I'll call it a trip, but I'm going to the Festival of Fires in Hill of Uisneach on the 10th of May.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if you know that one. This is a longer answer. It's not that much of a trip because it's only about 25 minutes away from here. It's in
That
Westmeath, but I'm
still
going there this
counts!
Saturday.
You're
Yeah,
going to
okay,
explore and do something different, that totally counts.
yeah, okay, yeah. Uisneach.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your dream destination? Do you have one?
Mm, dream destination. Oh, I've kind of made it my business to go to a lot of the things I'm really, really mad to go to. Especially over the last year.
Yeah,
Oh, I might feels like a cop out kind of one, but there's certain counties I'm really not that familiar with, and Kilkenny has got to be the one that I'm not even a million percent sure I've set my foot down in it properly.
yeah.
So for that reason, I'm gonna say County Kilkenny. Yeah, I
Cool,
know.
that's neat. We've talked about this a little bit already, but would you
Yeah.
prefer to see many places or get to know one really well?
The latter, get to know them well. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if I could be, I mean, sometimes when I was in Spain, it'd be 3 months in a place, and that would be just great to be able to live there and kind of take it in for a long time. Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. And you touched on this too, but for the sake of the round, bougie or budget?
budget, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Do you like to travel solo or do you prefer to travel with others?
Uh, with others, yeah, with others, yeah, yeah, yeah. Both work, but with others for sure.
Okay. And would you prefer to travel to the ocean or outer space?
Ocean, I wouldn't bother with. No, wait. Well, I don't know what that constitutes. Outer space is like, I know what that constitutes. The ocean, that could be next to it. That could be in the middle of it. I'll go with the ocean. I won't be pushed with space.
Okay. Do you have
Yeah.
a favorite content creator, whether it's YouTuber, blogger, podcaster, what Instagram, whatever?
Favorite overall. I'm gonna go with. Oh, I'm probably gonna go with Blame It on George. He's an American YouTuber. He does like lost media and like internet mysteries type content, and he's kind of like one of the big guys at that. Him or Nick Crowley, who does the same thing. Those would be my guys. Yeah,
Cool. Favorite mode of transportation?
love walking, absolutely love walking. I don't like it when like a town is like a geographical island in the sense that there is no way to walk to some town. Newport, the Isle of Wight is like that. You can't walk there.
Oh,
But there's no footpath on the roads going to it. So so you just
yeah.
can't. It's like a geographical island.
Interesting. And you
Yeah.
mentioned before that you don't drive. Was that
I
like
can't
an
drive.
intentional? Yeah, you like not interested kind of deal or?
I'll probably learn at some stage, but I'm not that pushed, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I got other ways of getting around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Planned trips or spontaneous trips?
Um, I would say planned, but doesn't need to be heavily planned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Underpacker or overpacker?
What is that? Oh, like too much or too little?
Yeah.
Underpacker.
Most overrated destination?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I feel like, you know, I feel slightly mean saying it, but I don't think the Cliffs of Moher are really anything major to write home about.
I think
If you
you're
go to
entitled
the
to your opinion. That's fine
huh?
to say it.
I mean, uh, like they are very, very tall and they're cool, but if you go to the Aran Islands, you'll see
Mm,
Inishmore in particular, you'll see sea cliffs around most of it, and you can get right up, like right up next to them, go onto your belly and crawl up next to them and look over if you like. They're not as high, but they're
yeah.
still spectacular and they're way less crowded than the Cliffs of Moher. And the biggest disadvantage by far of the Cliffs of Moher right now is that most of the walkway is closed since last summer. So
Oh,
only very
still?
a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh,
Last summer there is like you can walk the whole. Normally you can walk the whole way from Doolin and Clare to the Cliffs of Moher and beyond that, but the whole walkway, and it's about maybe a 2 hour walk, an hour and a half maybe from Doolin to Cliffs of Moher. That's all closed. You're not supposed to go there.
huh,
A lot of that's closed now. They're doing safety works around it, and a lot of people don't know that when they go there. So you can view them. There is the viewing area, but it's very packed with
right,
people and
right.
um, I think it's a good thing that's got the safety barriers, but it means it's got more impeded views. So I mean, I don't want to trash the thing or anything like that, but I'd take the Inishmore ones. You know, I'd take the Inishmore ones over it.
I've been to Inishmore, but I haven't really been to the cliffs, but it's a fascinating place, and if anybody who hasn't been, definitely check out the Aran Islands.
Definitely
Go to yeah,
Go to Black Fort on go to Black Fort there because not many people go there. You got outstanding sea cliff views, uh, and it's really like when I was there, it was with me and my friend. We were only two people there.
wild.
Yeah.
Most underrated destination?
There's definitely a bunch. Um, One I'll just say that recently was because I was just there was Wexford, the Salty Islands. I don't know if you know about those.
No?
They're so when people think about islands off the coast of Ireland, they normally think of the west coast. There's the heaps of them off Mayo, heaps of them off Galway,
Right.
Kerry, heaps of islands. But and you know it's for a reason because the east coast of Ireland doesn't have as nearly as many islands. But the salty islands off the coast of Wexford, you can visit them a few times a day by a boat trip. There's not really structures on there, but it's I mean, I was there in good weather and it's amazing there, and it's the place. It's big for bird watchers. Puffins. By the way, puffins come up right next to you. Puffins aren't really that shy at all. So
What?
you can see absolutely, and it's not like, oh, will I see a puffin? No, you will see a puffin. There are every well, at the right time of year you will see a puffin, several of them
Oh,
because they come right up to you and there's loads of them. So Wexford, I mean, Wexford town itself is really, I think it's really cool. Um, it's a nice, decent sized town. The river going through it is cool. A lot of old church ruins and castle ruins there. A huge amount of them, a pretty high concentration. And the salty islands are not islands you hear people talk about that much, and they're actually are really cool to visit.
I'm putting it on my list. I'm
Yeah.
dying to bring my camper van over to Ireland and just do, like,
Hmm.
a nice 6 months,
Yeah.
like, chill pace. Mind you, the amount of things I wanna see is now growing, but
Yeah.
we'll add that on. Cool. What home comfort do you miss the most when you're away, or have you missed when you've been away?
um. eh, Geez, not really anything. I mean, no, nothing really. I don't mind being. I don't mind living like without a lot of things.
Yeah.
Naturally, I need internet for a lot of things I'm doing these days from away, but that's easy to get at a hotspot or whatever like that. That's simple. I'm a big coffee fan. I've got all kinds of coffee paraphernalia at home. I wouldn't typically bring with me, but I don't mind coffee in the shop. Doesn't bother me at all. So no, I'm pretty easy. Yeah.
Nice. What's the best piece of travel advice you've received?
Oh, that I've received.
Yeah.
Um. Uh. It's like it's I'm just gonna give it my favorite one, even though it's not one I've used. I was hitching a lift. I got a lift off a guy called Dennis, I think was his name, and this was in England. And I don't know why. I really don't know why he was saying it to me. I think he was just making conversation, but he was talking about when you pull out when you're driving on the road, and he was like, when you're driving, what the hell? What did he say again? It's always funny why he was even saying it to me. It's something like, when you're driving, you need to make up. That's it. Oh, it is actually kind of good advice. When you're driving, you need to make a plan and stick with it, and then everyone will react around you. Because if you don't know what to do, people don't know how to react around you. And it was
Yeah.
just more funny. Like, I don't know why he's telling me this. I'm not like, I wasn't driving then, and I didn't drive at all. I was hitching, so I clearly didn't drive. And but he was saying it with such certainty, and I don't know, it's just kind of fun. But I see where he's coming from. That's my favorite advice. Yeah.
Okay, cool. What about the worst piece of travel advice you've received or heard?
Worst piece of travel advice. Oh, geez, I mean, it's not advice, but um, public transport has only really grown in Ireland. Some pretty recently. I remember I was outside Gorey and I was trying to find out how to get into Gorey in Wexford. This was last summer. I went around. I thought there was a bus there, and I went to a garage across the road. This is in the countryside, and I was like, "Does a bus go there?" And he was like, "No, no, that only goes in the morning." And I was like, "Ah." And I was like, "Damn, we have to look again a taxi or something." The next thing, the bus appears, and it turns out there was a really regular bus line there, but he must have just driven all the time. He didn't really, because when you drive, you don't notice that there's buses around the place. So I wouldn't call that bad advice, but or no, you know what? I nearly even scratched that. When I tell people I'm going to go hitching in the UK, or I'm going to hitching when I was in Ireland or something like that, they would really frequently say, "Oh, you won't get a lift." They would say that.
Oh,
People would say that all the time. "Oh, you won't get a lift." Not like years ago, and you always get a lift. You get a lift in 10 minutes, less sometimes.
wow.
Yeah,
Huh, okay.
um, yeah.
Everybody get out and hitchhike.
Well, yeah,
Um,
if you want to,
yeah, yeah. On the plane or train, window seat or aisle seat?
window.
Describe yourself as a traveler in 3 words.
Um, uh, 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 traveler in 3 words. It doesn't even need to be a sentencing. We just 3 random words.
Yeah.
Um, uh, uh, Energetic, eccentric. I want to do another E. Economical. There we go.
Cool. Ooh, I like that. 3 characteristics that make a good travel partner because you travel with your friends a bunch, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Kind of like a general like agreeability with each other kind of thing, and having no problem with changing your plans. Like my cousin Freddie, we hit from Malin to Mizenhead last summer, and and there was a bar in Malin Farran's is the most northerly bar in mainland Ireland, and he was like, even though we had to get to a B&B, he was like, "Oh, we're going there for a bit," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, we're going there for a bit," and we kind of just following each other's plans all the time. But then we did an absolutely brilliant night in there, so it's good to be around somebody who's kind of with flexible,
I
flexible
find
and agreeable with things.
the best the best nights are always the unplanned ones
Oh,
too, or
that
the
was the
best
best night of last summer. That was the best night of last summer. It was absolutely brilliant in Farron's. It was like it was a Wednesday. It was a Wednesday night, and it was rammed. It was absolutely rammed in there. Right when a Wednesday night in July, and the pub quiz was on. You couldn't even walk through the place. It was that full.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay, alright. What's the best part of travel for you?
That's got to be. I'd say be meeting the people. I
Mhm.
love meeting people. I love hanging out with people. Whether it's like people in the hostels, I always think is a hell of a lot of fun because they're always in the same. They want to meet other people too,
Yep.
or yeah, that kind of thing. I just want meeting the people. I find that the most fun. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 totally. What about the worst part?
Worst part about traveling.
Yeah.
Uh, you say yeah. Like, have you ever seen Fargo?
No.
Oh, have you ever seen it? It's in
No.
Minnesota. It's based in Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, they say it like that. Yeah. Great movie, one of my favorites. Worst part about traveling. Mm, uh, I don't know. I mean, just how, just the fact that it costs quite a lot of money to be able to do it. Well, even if you do it on a budget, but the other thing is, it's very hard to make money whilst you're doing it. So if I
Mm,
could just do it constantly all the time, I probably would. But there's not really that consistent way to make money while you're doing it, and it always costs you money to do it. Even if
yep.
even if you do it well, now if you're really like hitching and doing it all like that, you won't spend a whole lot. You really won't spend a whole lot of money. But yeah, it's got to be that part of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What about the best travel app?
It's a cop out, but Google Maps is just absolutely brilliant. It's just necessary. It's brilliant. You get travel routes on it. And public travel routes are kind of not as useful in Ireland. I will say that when I was in the UK, like I said, with Hitchwiki and all that kind of thing, those are great sites. One I used to use a lot was I don't remember the name of it, but there was like this website in the UK where it had the list of all the service stations in the UK, and it had a really, really detailed description of the service stations in the UK. So you'd know if it was what hours it was open, if it was open 24 hours, if there was toilets there, what facilities were there, and what side of the road it was on. And it was actually for hitchhiking. It was an amazing website to know what service station you were getting to, what it was like, or where they could leave you off.
It sounds similar to that website. I think it's still in use, like the sleeping in airports one.
Oh, that one, yeah, yeah. I never used that.
Oh, it's a good one.
Hitch
I've used it.
HitchWiki would tell you all that same stuff as well. But actually, I have used it, but HitchWiki does the same thing. We'll say HitchWiki. Well, HitchWiki slash that service station one slash Google Maps. That's not a
Okay,
website, but
okay.
nah, yeah.
All right, and 2 more for you, and then you're
Uh-huh.
off the hook. Favorite travel book or movie? And it doesn't have to be, like, about a travel, it could be something that's set in another destination as well.
Mhm. The first thing that shot into my head, so I may as well just go with it, was the Motorcycle Diaries, Ernesto
Oh.
Guevara. Have you read it?
Yes. Yeah, and seen the movie. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the book's better, I think. The movie's good. The movie's a really, I mean, it's not one of the best movies going, but it was a nice adaptation of it.
Yeah.
No, the book's great. Ernesto Guevara is, and his buddy, I can't remember his buddy's name, but them motorcycling from Argentina to Colombia, I think. Um, I read that when I was a teenager, I think, or maybe when I was like maybe in college, and I thought it was a great kind of fun story of adventure like that. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Motorcycle Diaries, Ernesto Guevara, Ernesto Che Guevara.
Class.
Yeah.
And best gift for a traveler?
Eh,
People have been
uh,
pretty creative with this one, so you can think outside the box if you want to.
maybe uh, I mean, best gift. I'm trying to think what things I want when I'm out, kind of traveling or that kind of thing.
The Weird
Uh,
Ireland book.
oh, the Weird Ireland book. Yeah, yeah, you could say that. You could say that. I was gonna say something like, I don't know. I mean, I was gonna say something like I was hitching one time in England, and the guy wasn't gonna give me a lift, but he just walked up and asked me about it, and I was like, "Oh, this and this," and then he just pulls that cigarette out and just gives it to me. I wasn't even smoking at the time, but I was like, "Thanks," held on to it, you know. Oh, that was a great gift for me at the time. I loved that. Yeah,
Okay. All right. Well, Brinsley, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. This was really enjoyable. I appreciate you taking the time to come and chat and share all
no,
your
it's been a lot
stories
of
with me.
fun. Thanks,
Yeah.
Tara, very much, and let me know. I know you said you're in Ireland in September. Do you know how long you're around for that?
Haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
Usually, like, I come for something and then I usually tack on a few other visits or locations while I'm there. So
Mhm.
we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, let
Yeah.
me know. We'll be in touch anyways.
Definitely. Yeah. So just to recap, where can people find you? And is there anything else that you'd like to add before we say see you later?
Well, you can find me on Instagram, Weird Ireland. It's weird.ireland is the actual handle there. Weird Ireland on TikTok, just all one word, on with no dot on TikTok. Those are the biggest places for it. The podcast is called Weird Ireland Podcast. It is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, even on the Weird Ireland YouTube channel, all major streaming services. Um, the book Weird Ireland: An Unofficial Guide to the Island by Brinsley McNamara, myself, is available to buy. If you can get it on Amazon.com, Amazon.co.uk, or any other kind of bookseller like that. I think you can get it on Walmart even.com. And in the UK and Ireland, it's a lot more available in actual bookshops as well. Anything else to share? Well, I mean, I took a mini break there in April. The podcast is going to be, as best of our ability, coming out weekly. There's going to be videos coming out every day, if not every few days, if not every day. It'll be very regular again. So stay tuned to all of that. And there might be more interesting things coming in the more near future. Keep an eye out for it.
Awesome. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. We'll talk soon.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Tara.